Actually, it's Christians.
Two Christians to be exact. I'm Christian Taylor.
And I'm Christian Miller.
And this is the podcast for small creators.
All right, well, inaugural episode. How are you doing today, Christian?
Man, I'm doing well. How are you?
I am just beyond stoked to do this with you.
I know, this is just an awesome opportunity. We met each other in the Blimey Cow Patreon Cowmunity, which if you are not aware of Blimey Cow, you should definitely check them out on YouTube.
They are not a small channel.
They're not a small channel at all, but the Patreon group is pretty cool. I'm sure we'll have dedicated discussions on Patreon someday, but that day is not today.
It is not. We have a bunch of cool topics, and by a bunch I mean two, but that is all right. It's going to be a pretty fun episode. So you wanted to lead off with the first topic, right, Christian?
Yeah, so I wanted to talk about the mindset of being a content creator. And really this can apply to any type of content creation, whether that's YouTube, blog posts, live streaming, being a musician. Now, for me, this is about YouTube, but you can really apply this to whatever you're doing in the world of content creation. So I just want to talk about the mindset people have when they go into starting what they're doing. In my case, it would be a channel. I get a lot of people talking to me and they're like, oh, I'm psyched to join YouTube because it's going to make me rich. I'm going to be famous. I'm like, whoa, no. You cannot have that mindset.
Yeah, it's not going to get you anywhere.
It's not.
Sorry. I get that too. It's really frustrating when people you can't approach YouTube in the vein of oh, it's gonna make me money. You have to do it because you like doing it. Maybe we should start with why we ourselves do it, and then maybe some other legit reasons to kind of give our opinions on what are good reasons to make YouTube videos.
Yeah, I think that's a fantastic idea. Do you want to kick us off there?
Sure. So the reason I make YouTube videos is I enjoy that kind of last two moments in particular. I enjoy two moments in particular. Firstly, idea creation, right? I love coming up with this idea and being like, oh, I just want to share this idea I have with as many people as I can. And then the second reason is I really love seeing my video go live. I like writing, I like filming, I like editing, but it's kind of those two moments, right? It doesn't even necessarily matter how many people watch it. Like, sure, I want people to watch my videos, but that's not the big thing. It's like those moments of, oh, I've got an idea I want to share, and that moment when you actually get to share it.
Yeah, I think I'm very similar. So, when I take a look at why I make videos, I've always had this passion for the filmmaking process, for setting up a camera on a tripod and talking in front of it. And then for my tech videos, I do B-roll, which is shooting video of the actual product I'm talking about and laying that over my talking shot. And even that, man, when I'm recording B-roll and stuff, it's just super cool. I put on some cool music, and I mean, the whole process of making the video itself, I love to do. I think even if YouTube didn't exist, I would still make videos. I'd find somewhere to put them because the actual process of making it for me is really rewarding. The other thing I love is just seeing where it goes, because part of my mindset is not being expectant of anything. I think people sometimes get caught up in a feeling of entitlement for views based on how they think it should perform or how many subscribers they have. I've gotten caught up in that where I'll upload a video, I put in a lot of work, tons of hours, I do research on the topic, and I think it's going to do well. I upload it, and I get crickets. But
Right.
I step back and I say, you know what? I had a blast filming this video, and I know it's not over yet because I've had a video that I uploaded. It did not do well. And 6 months later, out of nowhere, it completely blew up. And now that video is at 87,000 views.
Wow.
So that is just a prime example to me of why I make videos. I do it because I love the process. I love uploading the video, very similar to what you said, and just watch what happens.
Right. And I think, like you said, it is really easy to be like, I put so much work into this video. It was a good topic. It should do well. And then when it doesn't do well, you're like, this is frustrating. But I think it's kind of easy to forget that, behind the numbers, like say I've had videos, where I only get 20 views or so. I've had videos where I got less, but those views, like those are people watching your content. So even if only, 20 people, 50 people watch a video that you make, those are people, right? Those are people who are taking the time out of their day to take a look at what you made. And it's just a really cool feeling if you kind of take a step back from like, oh, I need to hit this number. I really want to have this many views on this video, this many subscribers, when you think about it as people, I think it's a lot easier to have a video that doesn't, necessarily perform with air quotes as well.
Yeah, absolutely. And I'm going to kind of not steal, but promote Roberto Blake here. You guys, if you don't listen to him or really watch his channel, I'd recommend looking him up. He does a lot of videos about content creation. And what you were saying just reminded me of what he says, but he says it in a bit of a different way, which is that YouTube is a privilege in so many ways. Now, if you think about, like you were saying, if you have 20 views, that's 20 people. Now, if you got up and let's say you did your video live, let's say your video was stand up comedy. Now, if you got in front of 20 people as a small creator, I'm sure you'd be a little bit nervous. Getting up in front of any kind of crowd is nerve wracking. So when you're thinking, man, I wish this video had 5,000 views, that's great. If your video gets 5,000 views, that is fantastic. But don't feel like that's something you deserve or that's something you have to get. Think about what a privilege it is that you can record a video from the comfort of your house and people can watch it on their own time. Because I guarantee you, if you got up in front of 5,000 people to do stand up comedy, you'd be really nervous. And you may not perform as well as you did just standing in front of your camera and taking as many takes as you needed to do to make your video.
Right. No, that's that's fair. I think it's just important to be grateful for whatever audience you have, and it's kind of as simple as that. Like, and yeah, videos that do really well, they're great. Like my most viewed video by far is my review of the Emoji Movie.
I've not seen that movie, but I'm gonna have to watch that video now.
I suffered for that review. It was a rough one. My only regret is I had like a lot of swearing in it, which wasn't intentional, and I cut a lot of it out. But I was just so kind of broken by how corporate and just unbelievably uninspired that movie was that it kind of broke me a little bit.
Yeah,
But
you went on a rant, didn't you?
yes, that is what it qualifies as. But I got like 2,700 views on it, and for me that was crazy and that was great. But like that's not necessarily my best video. And the video I posted right after, which has like 40 views, which was about spoilers, like I'm just as proud of that video, and I'd like to think that people got stuff out of that one too. So it's not just about the numbers. Basically, is all we're saying here.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, I have a lot of hit or miss experiences as far as views go, and kind of what I've determined is, first of all, use that as a learning experience. Figure out what videos pulled a lot of views and how can you make more videos like that. But also don't get caught up in the numbers. Make content you love to produce. And that's one thing I'm discovering now more than ever on my second channel. I actually have a second channel just for vlogs because my main channel is tech videos and I didn't want to upset or confuse my audience by posting two totally different types of videos. And I'll be honest, at first, when I created my second channel, I was a little discouraged. I was like, oh man, this is starting over at zero, got to build an audience here. But I've actually come to be thankful for that. And here's why is I am not a professional vlogger. I'm not. I've committed to making one vlog a week just to try and push myself and see that I can make just a vlog of whatever I'm doing throughout my week. But the reason I'm thankful for starting over is so I don't feel pressured that I have an audience to satisfy. I've learned the privilege it is to just make videos. Man, I honestly, the vlog I'm making this week, I don't think it's my best work. But to me, I see it as more of a challenge. I'm like, you know what? I've committed to releasing a vlog every week, and I don't have 25,000 people that are expecting a super high quality video. So I see it as an experience to truly grow as you build your audience, to grow in the quality of your videos, in your content, and in every aspect. And you get to do that with grace of the people watching you who are investing in you from the beginning and not with the pressure of a massive audience.
Right. No, I remember my first videos, like I have some that got like 3 views, 11 views, my early movie reviews. And I mean, I'm really glad that my biggest video is not one of my like first few because I was growing, and I mean I'm still growing as a creator. But I like what you said about like those people who've been there from the beginning, because I have a few of those where I've got these people who watch my channel. There's like two or three that that comment on like every video and are like always like super excited when I post a new video and commented to me about it. And like those people make my day, to be honest.
Yeah, that's awesome. I love seeing people that are always in the comments section. It's super cool for me to see that as well. So that's pretty cool. So I think we should also discuss the money side of things. I think we've definitely covered the fame part. Two things people say: I'm going to be rich and I'm going to be famous. So when it comes to the money aspect, what are your thoughts on that?
I that's a good question. I've never really like made YouTube videos thinking that I would make money, and the big reason for that is that I make videos in a very saturated market. A lot of people make movie reviews and movie related content. So I think for me, it always just seemed like unlikely that I would ever really make much money off of it. Heck, I don't even run ads on my channel because I'm not I don't I even when I could have qualified as a like to monetize my channel, I thought the amount I'll make is a little not very much, and people don't need to see ads if like they don't want to, or I don't want people to have to see ads if they don't want to. So I think a lot of times people are really concerned about, I need to make money off of this. I really need to make money. Like, even if you look at how people were upset, even our good friend Chris McGowan made a video about YouTube's new requirements for getting monetization. And he was upset about it, but I saw some numbers, and like the amount of money that you're missing out on from what YouTube is talking about is like from YouTube's new requirements is pretty minimal. And if you're that concerned over, 20 bucks, 30 bucks, 50 bucks, like over the course of a long time, like maybe you're not approaching YouTube with exactly the right motives.
Right. Yeah, I'm totally with you there. And this really runs right by what we were saying about the fame part is when you're going to join YouTube, you got to join because you want to do it. Now, there's an opportunity for you to grow. What I will say is I don't think it is impossible to grow a channel. So many people get discouraged, including myself sometimes, that nowadays the market is too saturated. You'll never grow to be like the big guys. I think that's possible. But how you're going to get there is by hustling and uploading as much quality content as possible and doing it because you love to do it. If you try to manufacture fame and success and wealth, it's not going to go over well for you. And, when it comes to that demonetization thing with the new requirements of 1,000 subscribers and 4,000 watch time hours in the past 12 months, my knee jerk reaction was I was upset. I felt like, why? Why is YouTube doing this? This is going to hurt a lot of creators. If I didn't have a couple really successful videos, I would be demonetized. Even though I'm over 1,000 subscribers, that watch time is something that's hard to hit. But then my thought process shifted to number one, you're not entitled to ad revenue. YouTube is the one who's doing the work of selling the ads. And again, I want to point back to how much of a privilege it is. And I don't want this to feel like I'm just screaming at you as the listener. I'm not trying to talk down to you. This is something I told myself when I was thinking about these changes, is that YouTube is doing the work of selling to big advertisers like Coca-Cola, Google. Well, Google, it owns YouTube, but Amazon, Target, big name companies, they are selling the ads to them, and they're giving you the privilege of having an opportunity to get part of that check. And if you approached Coca-Cola on your own, having 1,000 subscribers, and said, "Hey, you want to advertise on my videos?" Unless you're just an amazing creator, they'd probably laugh at you and say, yeah, no thanks. So I think that's super cool. And I think what YouTube is doing is number one, they're trying to create more determination for small creators because we're seeing this shift right now in the YouTube community where the people who are really dedicated are going to push through. They're going to work as hard as possible now so they can hit that threshold and start earning ad revenue. And then the other people who just are in it for a quick buck, they were just being led on by $25 here or there, they're going to quit. They're going to pack up shop and they're going to quit. So I think this is a really defining moment for small creators where you have a choice. You can either push through because you love to make content and you truly love what you're doing, or you can just let it discourage you and have a little pity party and just pack up your channel and stop.
Right. So you're echoing thoughts that I saw in the Blimey Cow video at one point about like YouTube letting you make videos. I do think I want to emphasize that it's a symbiotic relationship, right? YouTube has to treat its creators well because we do, like, creators are the reason YouTube makes money, right? So it's a symbiotic relationship. But I think what a lot of people miss is that YouTube has to sell ads for creators to make money, right? And if YouTube can't sell ads, they can't function as a company. And so when YouTube makes these changes, right, I don't always agree with all of them. I do agree with this creator like monetization change, but they're doing it to try to keep their business afloat and working properly. Because if ads or if big companies don't want to sell ads to YouTube, YouTube dies. And so they have to do what they think is best. And I think like they were worried about like, certain content being monetized when it was potentially damaging to society as a whole. And I kind of respect that. They're a private company; they can allow on what they want, and I, I don't know. I just think I think everyone needs to take a chill pill when it comes to reacting to YouTube news, in my opinion.
Yeah, I'd be with you on that. It can be discouraging, but at the same time, you just got to do it because you love to do it.
Right. I mean, although to be fair, I don't have that. I didn't have that issue that you had, right? Because like again, I only have like 100 subs, so I'm making no money. Like there's YouTube is not something that pays the bills in any sort of way. So when they were like, yeah, we're making it harder for people to get monetized, I was a bit divorced from that, and I think I have to be open with that because that definitely changed how I reacted because it doesn't affect me.
Yeah, I mean, for me, I was just thankful that I am still able to be monetized, but even if I weren't, I don't do it for the money. But it's watch time is everything. I'm going to go on a little bit of a tangent here. I will say that watch time will greatly affect the ad revenue you see because a lot of people and a lot of what YouTube was saying was, oh, this change isn't much money. Not many people are going to, they're missing pennies. Now, if I go back and look at what I made before I would have been eligible, because I've had such a high watch time on probably 3 videos that have been very successful, that have such a high watch time. Number one, it's against the YouTube terms of service to say how much I've made. And number two, that's just not really something I want to do. But I will say that before I hit the threshold, I made enough money to be able to buy a decent starter camera. So take what you will with that. Not going to say exactly how much, but a decent starter camera. So more than 25 to 50 bucks. But at the same time, I think, even if it weren't for that, I would happily have been doing YouTube just as seriously and putting just as much effort into it.
All right, I mean, I can't argue with that. I think we've covered this topic pretty well. You know,
Yeah, I
do it
agree.
with the right mindset. Sorry. Do it with the right mindset. Don't be expecting anything out of it necessarily. Do it because you like to do it. I feel like it's kind of that simple, ultimately.
Yeah, the most rewarding thing is the community that you can build around yourself. And that, I would say, I'm just getting to this conclusion now. I would say that is the reason to do YouTube, is to build a community of your friends. Start with your friends and build up from there, who are willing to watch your videos, who will support you, who will be there in the comments section. And that is what it's all about.
Right. I mean, I agree. All right. Do you want to move on to our second thing that we're doing today, which is our what did we learn this month, where we talk about important things that we were not aware of when it comes to making videos.
Yeah, do you want to kick us off?
All right. Yeah, I'll kick us off. So, I did not realize, and this is embarrassing because I'm making, my videos for like over a year now, that how much bad lighting can ruin a video. So I made a video recently, about a month ago, where I did my top 10 movies of 2017, right? And unfortunately, the lighting in it was atrocious. And I watched it back kind of after I finished editing it because I was like, I didn't have time to film it again because of some stuff I had going on in my life. Like I had carved out a tiny bit of time where I could film it, and then I had to just go with what I had filmed. And I realized as I'm watching my video, right, that even though I think this is a pretty decent video, my lighting in it is going to push people away. And I think that could be said of like any glaring mistake in a video where you're like, they could have fixed that. Like if your audio is just awful, right? Like say you're wearing a shirt mic. I forget what they're called,
A
and
lav mic,
you're
lavalier mic.
lavalier mic. Thank you. Sorry again, not the tech channel. And you're just constantly kind of bumping it, and like it's making nasty noises and stuff. Regardless of how good your content is, that's gonna push people away. And so I think I kind of just learned that maybe take a minute, try to make sure that you're not doing anything that's going to hurt your video's ability to be successful or enjoyable. It'll save you heartache, or if you have the time, it'll save you from having to redo it.
Absolutely. I love what you said there. Great advice. I always will tell people now, because we're small creators, so I get that really we don't have a budget. We're just dumping personal money into this. But I tell people, I don't care if you're shooting on a smartphone or if you have an old camera that a friend or family member gave you. I don't care what your video looks like. The first thing you should do when you have some money to put into your channel is buy a microphone. Whether that's just even a $20 lavalier mic. I know you were just hating on lavalier mics. They're not my favorite, but even
I mean,
a $20 lavalier mic can improve your audio to where the viewer can enjoy your video and not be distracted by echo or just poor quality in general. And
I will tell you what. Hold on, 1 second. Actually, I do. I wasn't hating on lavalier mics. I was hating on people not being careful with them. I actually think they do a pretty darn good job. I kind of prefer it to the shotgun mic that I have in general. And actually, you can get a pretty decent lavalier mic for like uh, $5 to $7. Like that will actually give you pretty decent audio. Just look online and you can find them pretty easily.
yeah, for sure. I mean, that audio quality should be your top priority. And that's something that I was telling someone recently. I met them on an online Discord server and they sent me their videos. I love their content. They're super small. And I'm like, man, they can really go somewhere with their content. But what I struggled with is I honestly struggled to watch their videos because they were recording with an iPad and they were just using their iPad mic, which where they had it set or however they had it set up, it just didn't sound good. So I recommended to them, hey, invest in your audio. And that's something they said they're looking into, which is awesome. After audio, after you invest in that, invest in lighting, which is what Christian was just talking about. Lighting is also crucial. I would say it's not quite as important as audio, but it's probably the second most important thing. Make sure you're,
Right.
number one, evenly lit. And I know that can be hard. I struggle with that, but try to eliminate shadows on your face and make sure
Oh
you're
gosh, bad lighting. Just it's so rough. Like I had so for the video I shot, I I have parts where I put my hand in front of my face, and because of how close I had the lights, I set them up way too close, and there was like these big dark like hard edge shadows on my face. Oh no, it's the most distracting thing. Like it's almost as bad to me as audio. Although audio, you're right, is the worst. It's terrible. I hate it. Oh,
Yeah, and
sorry.
just like the audio, a lot of people I think get discouraged. They look on B&H or Amazon at lighting and they see that it's really expensive. If you have the money to put into some soft boxes or even more expensive, nicer LED panels, 100% go for it. But if you cannot afford that, get some lamps. Get some floor lamps, order some bright light bulbs on Amazon. They're relatively cheap. Make sure they're all the same color temperature so you're not mixing warm white and cool white. Same color temperature and experiment. I my lighting isn't perfect, but what I do right now and I think it is decent is I use my smart bulbs. Now, those are very expensive, but the reason I tell you that is I'm using a floor lamp. So I have smart light bulbs just for my own leisure because I enjoy using them in my room. However, I could just as easily buy some $3 a piece light bulbs on Amazon that would have the same brightness and same color temperature as the smart lighting. They just wouldn't be able to change colors, but all you need is white really for filming a video
Right.
anyway. So
The other thing that I would suggest that I've done, and like the videos I have that are best lit have used these things. First of all, look up 3-point lighting and practice it a little bit. Your videos will improve lighting quality because 3-point lighting is great. Secondly, you can look up how to get a decent lighting kit for really cheap online, and they have like a bunch of like if you can just go through like there are varying options of people telling of websites giving you ways to have good lighting on the cheap. Like some people have these like talk about these really great flashlights that if you use from the right distance, they look really good, or if you cluster them together and they're really cheap on their own. So like there are ways to get good lighting on the cheap if you're willing to put in the work and look and also learn a little bit about how to do lighting, right?
yeah, you just got to get creative with it. Experiment, try different things, try different lights in your house you might already have. That's all I've done up to this point, and that's really what I'm going to keep doing until I can afford to actually get some professional lights.
That's fair. All right. So now we've talked about what I learned this month. What did you learn this month, Chris?
Well, I've learned the importance of two things: cards and end screens. So, if you're not super familiar with the technical terms of YouTube, I'll start with cards. So, when you're watching videos on other channels, you may notice that there's a little eye icon in the top right corner, and sometimes it'll just kind of pop out from nowhere with text. Those are cards. So, you might hear someone saying, I have a video about making spaghetti that I already made. And all of a sudden, the card comes out in the top right corner. And you have the opportunity, if you're interested, to click the card and watch that video. So that's cards. Now, end screens, a very similar concept, but at the end of the video, you will see sometimes those boxes that have videos or a subscribe option, like within the video at the end of a video. That is an end screen. So, first, I want to talk about why I was neglecting it. I was neglecting it out of sheer laziness. I really didn't see the value. I thought, this is just another step after I upload my videos. I don't have time for this. I'm already putting in so much work as it is. I don't need to do this. So I would upload my videos, upload my thumbnail, and call it a day. And that was fine. But I started really figuring, how do I get to the next level? And what I realized was the opportunity that is there to utilize successful videos on my channel to draw people to other newer videos. And let me explain what I mean. Is I have a video on my channel, and it's Opera versus Chrome, the web browsers. It's a battle between the two. And that is the video I mentioned earlier that has done particularly well and is at 87,000 views and still growing. Now, I realized what an opportunity I was missing that I even let it get to 87,000 views before trying to leverage that to keep people watching, keep them on my channel. So what I did recently was I made a Firefox versus Chrome video to more web browsers, and then I went to my Opera versus Chrome video and I made a card. So that video is getting a ton of traffic. Some people are seeing that card and they're clicking it, and they're going to another video similar that they're interested in. And just by doing that, My Firefox versus Chrome video, which is the new one, it's been up for about 3 weeks now. It has nearly 1,000 views in 3 weeks, which for my channel is fantastic. So I've learned the importance of tying your videos together. Create an experience for the viewer. I have a PayPal versus Venmo video that did particularly well. It's at about 2,500 views. So I made, and let me take a step back and say I'm not making these other similar videos strictly to try and quote capitalize on this concept. I'm just saying you should be smart. Think about how to utilize opportunities, but also make sure you're creating content you want to create. So, with that being said, I have a PayPal versus Venmo video. It was doing pretty well. So, I made a Venmo versus Cash App video and linked it together using a card. And it goes two ways. So, on my Venmo versus Cash App video, I put a card there and linked it back to my PayPal versus Venmo video. So that's cards. End screens are a very similar concept, but just increasing interaction at the end of your video. You can even put best for viewer. That's an option for the video. And that is super cool because you're letting the YouTube algorithm do the work and it be the judge, but it's guaranteeing that it's going to be a video on your channel. So those are two ways you can increase interaction. And Christian, I'm sure you have some comments, so sorry I'm talking so long. But one more thing I wanted to mention when I was kind of neglecting this and saying what's the importance, this is going to sound really creepy, but I actually, for a brief, short while, was studying my friends when they were on YouTube. I know that sounds really creepy, but like if I was sitting next to a friend and they were watching YouTube, I would watch how do they interact with the content? How does the average person handle end screens? And what I was finding is they were highly successful. The video would end, my friend would see the end screen, they would see a video they'd like, and they would click on it. And that means that they're staying on your channel instead of potentially either leaving YouTube or just clicking away to a different channel and exiting your area, so to speak.
Right. So, okay, I do actually have opinions because I like end screens a lot. I do not generally use iCards. I'm a big fan of end screens. So I started using them a bit ago. And so what I started using them effectively, I would like to think, after I went to VidCon. While I was at VidCon, I went to a panel that Matt, Pat, and Stephanie from the Game Theorists were hosting about like how to make your content or how to grow your channel through your content and all that. It was a great talk. And part of what they talked about was end screens. And they said one of the big things that people miss is if you're doing an end screen, right, mention that video which you're talking about, right? So if you, for example, with your Q, is it called Q?
Is it
Q, whatever. The web browser, sorry.
Opera versus Chrome?
Opera, sorry. I don't know why I thought it was a
It's
Q.
all good.
With Opera versus Chrome, right? At the end of that video, you could have said like, "Hey, I also." Oh, well, sorry, it wouldn't work with the Opera versus Chrome. But assuming,
video.
let's say with the Firefox versus Chrome, I apologize. With the Firefox versus Chrome video, you could have been like, "Hey, I also made a video about Opera versus Chrome. You can check that out right here," and then you point to where you're going to put the little link on the screen. And so they also talked about like top left is the best spot. Like people are most likely to click on top left stuff, then bottom left, then top right, then bottom right. So if I really want people to click on something, I usually go top left, then bottom, and then put the other stuff on bottom left or top right. And also, people are much more likely to click on a video than a subscribe button that you put on the screen. I believe. Yeah, sorry. Anyway, so really pushing people to see that next video is big, because once they've started watching a couple of your videos, and if one video leads to the next video, which leads to the next video, which leads to the next video, there's a pretty good chance that they're just going to subscribe, because they're already invested in your content, because at each end screen you've been leading them to the next video that they might enjoy. And the way to do that is to lead people towards videos that are related to the one you just made. So yeah, that's something that I learned a while ago when I went to VidCon last year. I love end screens. I think they're really great for uh, helping people kind of navigate through your channel and what they might enjoy.
Yeah, and just something that came to my mind when you were talking about leading people on to more videos is the value that brings you, even if they don't subscribe. Because what I've learned, I'm going to say this for next month on the next month's What I've Learned section. So I'm going to leave a bit of a cliffhanger, not go into too much detail. But what I've learned is how important it is to appeal to the algorithm for success. And I'll dive deep into that on the things we learned or some topic next month. But I'm going to keep it brief and say there is a lot of value in leading people on from one video to the next on your channel. Beyond having them as a potential subscriber, there is so much value. And I guarantee you, you will show up in their recommended feed more often if that type of situation happens where they, I guess, binge on your content. But I'll not go too much into that. That will be for another episode.
Right. That's I look forward to it.
All right, well, that's going to do it for our topics this week. And if you are listening and you have any questions for us or you have feedback, because remember, this is all a community, we're all on an equal level here. So if you have something you want to let us know that we should know, or if you've got a question for us, we are open to your emails. The email is itschristianpodcast@gmail.com. Shoot us a message with whatever's on your mind, whether it's a question, whether you want to let us know something, if you have any feedback or suggestions for how we can improve our podcast, or just to say hi.
We would be absolutely delighted to receive them. Any communication would be really cool.
That is very true. Well, hey guys, thank you so much for listening to this podcast and taking the time to do that. It means a lot to both of us. We should say our channel URLs for anyone who doesn't know.
So that's a funny story, Christian. So I had a URL for my channel, but then I transferred it to being a brand account because I had brought my brother on, and it just kind of makes life easier. But unfortunately, I lost my URL when I did that. So since the channel, once it became a brand account, is technically a new channel, it's less than 30 days old, even though I have 100 subscribers and all the other necessary requirements. So I do not currently have a URL. Can we put a link in the description of the podcast?
Yes, we'll have a link in the description.
Okay.
Also, pro tip, you should check out a service like bit.ly, bit.ly, and you can make a custom short link for free. So you could do like bit.ly/your channel name, something like that.
Oh, that's worth noting. But if you want to find me on YouTube, probably if you look up Sibling Cinema movie reviews, it should pop up. The name of the channel is Sibling Cinema. It's a picture of me and my brother with our knees up on rocking chairs, staring at the camera mysteriously. It's a bit of a weird photo, but people seem to like it.
Very precise description of that photo.
Yeah, so again, Sibling Cinema movie reviews, you'll probably find it pretty easily. I think I make some alright videos. My little brother Dominic and I just released an announcement video talking about what we're going to be making in the future. Our next project is going to be a movie series, or a video series rather, where we rank a certain franchise, movie by movie in that franchise. So we're doing ranking the entirety of the Marvel Cinematic Universe, and we're doing Iron Man, and then Hulk, and then Iron Man 2, and so forth and so on until we finally catch up with Marvel, which will be a little while.
Awesome. Well, my channel URL is youtube.com/Christian Taylor Tech. I make tech videos that would include product reviews, comparisons between softwares, or just talking about concepts in the world of tech, such as net neutrality. Or I also had a video talking about the whole YouTube demonetization topic. So that is what I do. Now we've both given out our channel URLs if you guys are curious and you want to check us out.
I hope some of you do. Do we have anything else we want to talk about today, Christian?
No, I think that is going to wrap up our very first episode. So, if you liked the episode, please be sure to subscribe on Apple Podcasts or Google Play or wherever you listen to podcasts. We'd love for you to follow along with our future episodes. We are planning on releasing episodes once a month. So, pretty laid back, but we are going to try and be consistent in that. So, we'd love to have you as a consistent listener, and thanks for putting in the time to listen to this episode.
Thank you for potting with me today, Christian.
You're welcome. Thank you for potting with me. I did not know that was a word. Is it a word?
It's a word if you listen to Dear Hank and John, which is my favorite podcast, so I'm going to steal it from them. But
all right, I need to do that. I really need to listen to that because you're super into it, and I think it would be cool.
It's really good. All right, so I think that about wraps it up for us. I guess we'll see you guys later.
Yeah, thanks for listening again, and we'll catch you guys later.